Please.
Please, you can start passing your questions to the front. If you have a question, I'm standing here. You can just pass your questions to me. Thank you.
Ada. Wait, D. Yes.
Have you seen my beautiful baby? Have you seen my tomato baby? Oh, yeah, baby, something they call me temper. Ada, baby, sugar, yo. Everybody they wait. Mutakere no more. If any mama ka, bebe subu na mani kilamo. Adam mangwa peke ya. Ada, yo. Ada no dey lack, Ada get am for everywhere. Hey, Ada no dey lack, Ada get am for up and down. Baby, not tomato, baby, you too fresh like morning wine. Hey, Ada welele, iyo koko. Everybody dey wait. Mutakere no more. Ife dey mama ka, but that's the one I'm making a move. Ada mbangwa peke ya. Ada, yo. kajo kajo, kayo kayo kajo. Oyo me ole ho so komi oe. Oyo me ya, oyo me ya. Oh oyo me ole ho so komi oe. Oyo me ya, oyo me ya. Oyo me ole ho so komi oe. Everybody's born a winner, yeah, yeah. If only you just believe, yeah, yeah, yeah. Close your eyes and come and see it now, yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't you worry about a thing now. Cause if you work hard, you can get it if you want. If you strive hard, you can be just what you want. If you work hard, you can climb the mountain top. Cause nothing is too small and nothing is too big. Uyo meya, uyo meya, oh ya, uyo meya le uosa okami oe. Uyo meya, oh ya, uyo meya le uosa okami oe. What my eyes have seen, yeah. Oh, told me to yeah, yeah. Don't let them tell you you can, cause they won't help you just so you know. Just keep on pushing on. If it's daddy me, oh, they, my baby, my two culture. If it's mommy me, oh, they, my baby, my two culture. Ori, me, jawa. Oliana, kami, oh.
Thank you, Ebony Waves. With a round of applause, I would like to welcome to... Are you sure we shouldn't do it down so that... Isn't it? Down is better, right? Okay, so... So we're coming to the best part of this interactive session. We want to... The question and answer gives us an idea into your thoughts. And to take our question and answer, to move this session forward, we will call on the Deputy Chief Resident, Dr. Oluseyi Oduyoye. A round of applause for him. We have the head of the continuing education unit, who is also my co-anchor. My co-anchor is Dr. Charles Ojabo. We have the head of the IVF nursing, Nurse Scholastica Wamarabianos Obi. We have the deputy head of the embryology department, Mrs. Temitope Bodunde. A round of applause too. So I'll take the questions.
Okay, so we'll just read out some of the questions. There are some questions that we will just answer on the spot, while some of them will go to the embryology lab director, the chief medical director, and some of our consultants here present. I'm sure by now, after this lecture, some of you are non-clinical embryologists and fertility specialists. But I think the highlight of everything is that you have gotten enough information for yourselves and also for people in the future that will come across you. And I also want to believe that all this information that we have received here will translate to your success by the special grace of God. So my first question says, can I travel by road immediately after positive result? Can I travel by road? The answer is yes. But as much as possible, you want the driver to be very cautious of bumps and potholes. So like the chief medical director said, after your embryo transfer, you're like someone who is carrying an egg on a spoon. So everything has to be done carefully. So your journey by road should be very smooth.
Dr. Charles, this journey by road, when you're reading this question in the US, if you're going by road or by train, the road is smooth. Have you gone on Benin, Abuja Road recently?
Yes.
I'm just asking.
I understand. The roads are generally bad. There are some
So wait, let me paint the scenario. I've done embryo transfer and I'm in Peace Mass Transit. How am I going to be telling the driver that he should drive small? How does that even happen? I don't know.
Well,
isn't it just better you fly?
But there are some areas that you cannot fly to in the country as it is.
Okay.
So the road is not just totally ruled out, but there are some people that don't have a choice but to plead with the driver. Maybe before the journey starts, you can just meet him one-on-one and appeal that, Oga.
I think Dr. Charles has not traveled by road in a long time. I think because the way he's speaking, I don't know, maybe he's not Nigerian.
Dr. Charles feels every part of Nigeria is like Abuja.
Yeah, that's the problem. You feel
outside Abuja, the roads are pretty bad.
Yes, really bad. So I think it might be safer for you to, I think the more advanced the pregnancy, the more the chances of, the less the chances of miscarriage. Because if you have to go by road at the very early stages, when you travel by road in Nigeria right now with the current state of our roads, when you get to your destination, you need a few days to recover from the stress. And then you now add you're pregnant to it. So, to be honest, I think we may need to really factor, if you're going by road, you might want to shorten the journey. Like, let's assume you live in Ekpoma, fly to Benin, and know you are doing Benin to Ekpoma or Benin to Auchi. Okay, or you're going to maybe Aba, maybe fly to Owerri or fly to Port Harcourt, and then but flying from, just driving from Abuja here for a 10, 12, sometimes 13-hour journey, the stress on you will be so much, and if anything happens to your pregnancy, I'm not sure you forgive yourself. So the rule will be fly to the point you can, and then make the road journey shorter.
All right, so we have some questions here, so we're taking them in turns. The first one I have here, pretty important, because from our interaction with you when we started this program, maybe a third of the people seated there might be using what we call the third-party assisted conception, as donor eggs. And someone asked a very important question here. He or she said, for those using donor egg, when are we going to know the physical, religious, and academic background of the egg donor?
Yes, you should know. You should know, it's your right. Because it's enough that you are using the egg of someone that you are not seeing physically and you don't know. We should give you certain information. So whenever you're ready to receive that information, please inform your nurse. And we in the embryology team would have that information mailed to you on the email that you have given to us on your biodata on the electronic medical records. So we can tell you what the height of the donor is. We can tell you her statistics. We can tell you, statistic meaning bust, waist, and hip. We can tell you what her complexion is on a scale of 10. We can tell you almost all our donors go to school. They're all from school, university. So we can tell you what course she's reading and what level she's in. We can tell you her age. We can tell you local government. We can give you information about your donor. Sorry? Oh, okay. We can give you information about your donor. Usually we give you about 13 parameters for you to know venereal disease, what we screen for, blood group, genotype. We can give you that. So, but that information is usually sent by email to the mail because it's a very confidential document. So you can choose to collect it in person as a hard copy, but we want to also know that you have a record of it, so we'll send it to you by email. So please make sure the email on the medical records is correct. So if any of you don't receive mails from the hospital, please inform your SALT team so that they can. It means that something is wrong with your email. So we can have that sent to you whenever you're ready.
Maybe somebody will now ask you that, can I see the picture of the donor?
No. Our third-party human reproduction is completely anonymous. The donors are not interested in you seeing them. They are not also interested in knowing you. Because we've had to turn back some patients that have insisted that, no, I must know the person, even if it's a picture, a baby picture. We don't do that because Nigeria is not as exposed as the Western world, where people will say you can actually just walk up and say, oh, I'm your child. And you're like, oh, okay, I don't know where that came from. And you say, my mom used your eggs when she was, when you were younger. And you go like, oh my God, I had a baby. In Nigeria, no, that's not it. When your baby becomes the president of the country, then you're going to have someone from somewhere just say that, I donated that egg. So genetically speaking, this child is my child. And the person will lay claim to it, and nothing will happen. So for that reason, we tell people that if you know you cannot cope with anonymous third-party human reproduction donation, this is not the hospital for you. We can't take donors' sisters, we can't take cousins, we don't do known donations here. Our third-party human reproduction is completely anonymous. We must protect the identity of both the donor and the patient.
Okay, the next question says, does the success of IVF depend on egg/sperm from parents or donors?
If you're using a donor, it depends on the donors. That's the success. The success of IVF depends on so many factors. So the parent has a part to play, and the gametes also have a part to play. So if I have fantastic embryos, but a very hostile uterus, it kind of puts that percentage a little bit lower than maybe 80%, isn't it? But let's assume everything is okay with the recipient who is receiving the embryo. Then we have to look at egg is usually top notch because most of our donors are between the ages of 21 to 25. Okay, we have a few over between 26 to, but not more than 28. And but because you don't also have a lot of girls in school with that age range. Most of the girls in school are usually between 21 and 25. So most of our donors fall under that category. But then you also have to look at the sperm as well. So the sperm is also a contributory factor, but not the sole indicator or predictor of if the IVF will be successful. So in terms of a recipient, you want to look at how good is my uterus to receive the embryos, okay? In terms of donors, or in terms of the gametes, you want to look at what's the quality of the egg and what's the quality of the sperm. The more disadvantage you have on each of those qualities, the less the chance of conception.
Okay, I have a question here which I'll be answering. To get a good sperm quality, how many days of abstinence is required before fertilization? from the embryology lab, what we expect from our patient is 3 days abstinence before the day of semen production. The reason is because the longer the abstinence, the more, you have more sperm cells, but most of them will be dead. The motility won't be there. But the days of abstinence doesn't change the quality. The quality remains what it is, except if you are using medication that will help to improve the quality.
He said, I've been wanting to buy the female supplement but told it's not ready. When will it be ready and for how long will I have to take it before the embryo transfer?
Can we call the head of Awesome? Is it available? Yes, the supplements are available now, so you can pick them up at will.
Okay, I have this question. Can an IVF patient give birth naturally without going through cesarean section?
Okay, we'll give the microphone to the Chief Medical Director to answer that question.
And I will just add a second question that's close to that. It says, after giving birth through this process, what are the chances of giving birth naturally for the lady? First question is, can an IVF patient give birth naturally without going through cesarean section? And the second says, after giving birth through this process, what are the chances of giving birth naturally for the lady?
Yes, a woman who has had an IVF can give birth naturally. It is, which one is safer? That's the question. The cesarean section is 7 times safer than vaginal delivery. 7 times safer. So the problem of the delivery, it's not when you are contracting, no. It is when the baby's head is in the vagina. The baby is not inside your womb, but the baby is not outside. The head is in the vagina. That is when most babies are lost. And you don't want to take that chance. The stress the child goes through during the vaginal delivery is much. And a precious baby, you don't want that stress at all. You don't want story. It's taking too much already, so let's just bring out the baby. So we will recommend. The woman that is likely doing an IVF is already older. So you don't want to take the risk. She is already looking for this baby for years. So you don't want to go. It is because you are looking for the baby. That's why you came to do IVF. You don't want to take the risk. It is a risk. That is the problem. You will forgive yourself. Do babies born through the IVF through cesarean section die? The chances are slim. Very, very slim. So without any controversy, cesarean section is 7 times safer than vaginal birth. Now, can the woman who has had an IVF get pregnant by herself? I think that's the question. Can she get pregnant by herself? The answer is yes. Can she deliver again? The answer is yes. Can she get pregnant? The very fact that you have gotten pregnant may just open the door. And you start conceiving yourself. Can she deliver herself? The answer is yes, depending on how soon, how close your cesarean delivery was to the new pregnancy. If it's up to 18 months, you can have a vaginal delivery. You can. It's called a vaginal delivery after a cesarean section. But that is not the kind of delivery you go and take in a low-class hospital. If you've had an IVF pregnancy, you had an elective cesarean section, and now you are pregnant, you want to try vaginal birth after a cesarean section, you need a hospital with a standby theater. The chances you will end up with an emergency cesarean section is high. The question is this: why do you want to take a risk? No need. I think it's better to just take a safer route. Cesarean section is safer. If cesarean section is safer, why were our mothers not giving birth by cesarean section? The reason was because in their time, that time, cesarean section was deadly. Do women die from cesarean section? Now why? Why would the woman die? Die for what? What will kill her? That she's having a cesarean section. Nothing will kill you. Can she die of having a vaginal birth? Possibly. If after the vaginal delivery is sustained a cervical tear, what happens? So it's just I recommend cesarean section. Truly, I just recommend cesarean section. I hope that has that you give birth by cesarean section does not make you weaker. Because some people hide it. They want to show that there's something I hear about Hebrew women. That Hebrew women don't deliver by cesarean. Who said that? If you want to use the Hebrew women story, did you know how many Hebrew women died? If you don't know how many Hebrew women died, me I can tell you because I know they were dying.
Okay, sir.
The next question.
We have
Still
another
on
question
CMD,
for
yeah.
you. Okay, the question says, I did endometriosis surgery and now the scan is showing endometriosis is still there. Will the IVF be successful?
Well, like I told you, the greatest challenge to human reproduction is endometriosis. The fact that you did endometriotic surgery is not the treatment for endometriosis. You only just mitigated it. Endometriosis is you. It's like asking me to remove this black without scraping this bag. It's not possible. So the thing we do is that we use the power of IVF to break through endometriosis. Endometriosis creates a very hostile environment around you that embryology laboratory director has been saying. Endometriosis kills embryos. In the textbook, in Google, Facebook, and those things you're going to be reading, they will tell you that once you have endometriosis, you can't get pregnant. Say, go and do surrogacy, go and adopt a child. It's not true. Pregnancy may be difficult, but you get pregnant. You can get pregnant with endometriosis. We tackle it more. I don't know. The CYB program, people taking endometriosis, I thought there was... You get to be cautious because remember, the pledge...
It's 80%, sir.
80% of the patients must get pregnant within the 2 cycles.
Sir, they will get pregnant.
So I should relax.
Relax.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now we have this next question is actually a stream of questions. The first one says, how do the IVF team manage the increased number of patients, especially on these County of Blessings programs that has a lot of people? The same person went on to say, will each patient be treated with attention and details despite the crowd? And then the third question by that same person, if the first cycle fails, how soon before the second cycle can commence? And the last one from the same person, for people with PCOS, that's polycystic ovarian syndrome, which we spoke about earlier, is the embryo transfer done in the same cycle or frozen? If frozen, what are the extra charges?
Oh, okay. So we want to start with the first question that says the increased number of patients. Typically, this center runs about 1,000 cycles every year. So the number of patients in here, it looks really large, but the truth about it is that this team is created to work very efficiently and very smoothly. So I want everybody to be rest assured that the number does not mean less services. You would always, if you're for scan, there would always be someone for you. But what we appeal to, the appeal we make to our patients is, please don't make it more difficult. Like if we tell you to come for scan between 12 to 2, don't tell us you want to come 9 p.m. and then complain that you met one person on the shift. We like to take care of our patients within the time where we have more people on the shift, because you know, we have so many heads dealing with only you. And I think that's where you get to benefit from. Someone can say, oh, Adesola, can you have a look at this? Oh, Dr. Shea, we want to have your input in this. But when you now decide that, no, I won't be able to make it, I need to come by 10 p.m., you're going to have one nurse that is just giving trigger injections at 9 p.m. And she will pick the she would have to put the patients for trigger injections as priority first because it's a timed procedure. So you find out that you sit down, you wait for longer, and then you get upset. Please just stick to the timelines and all of us will be very happy. As you're all seated here, it's important that every patient should know that your program has already been planned, tailored to you as we speak. So the details of your plan is right here as we're standing. If you mention a name, we can tell you that there's something, this patient has endometriosis, has this, has that. This is what we plan. She should have been on Zoladex for 4 months ago. We can tell you everything. So the planning of the patient does not take place at the treatment. No. The planning of the patient has already been finalized as we're standing here, except maybe for patients that have not had their review of results. But if you've been seen, you've been reviewed, your plan is already outlined. What we just need you to do is please follow the plan as is outlined.
Like we spoke earlier on, the moment your embryos are transferred into your uterus, it triggers some receptors in the uterus. So for the sake of this, we would like to repeat, if a cycle fails, we would like to repeat the next cycle as soon as possible. In fact, I think part of the terms and conditions we gave you in those green forms that you filled is that the 2 cycles, we would like you to use them within 3 months. And it's to your own advantage. The sooner or the closer a cycle is to the next one, the bigger your advantage or chances of getting pregnant. Now, for people with PCOS, now when you have PCOS, the main challenge of polycystic ovarian disease, apart from infertility, you are now with us, we want to treat your infertility. So the main challenge we'll be having with you is something called ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. Now, this is a very fatal condition that is attached to fertility, but we've been dealing with it from time to time, and we are used to it. Now, when you have this kind of condition, you could have mild, moderate, or severe. If you come down with mild OHSS, we will still advise for you to go on with your transfer. But once your OHSS is moderate to severe, we would advise that you freeze the embryo. The reason is that if we go ahead to transfer embryos for you and you get pregnant, the corpus luteum is going to become corpus luteum of pregnancy, and then we continue producing water for 12 weeks until there is placenta, meaning that you will be in the hospital for 12 weeks, we'll be giving you infusion, we'll be giving you, at times it could be as bad as we have to give you plasma protein and all that. If you look at the cost of all these things, you'll be running into millions. And when you compare that to the price of freezing, I think it's better you go to the freezing route. And we've even noticed that frozen embryo actually do give good outcome. So please, you do frozen embryo transfer. Yeah, if we have, so for the rates for the frozen embryo, please meet with your source officer, because if I give you the rate that I know, it's different from the rate that is made for CYB. Everything for CYB has been specially discounted, please. Thank you.
Okay, can we successfully do ICSI IVF with 0% motility and morphology, meaning the sperm cells are not motile at all? That's what this person is asking. Ideally, I'm sure during the review, you would have been placed on fertility supplement, most likely 2 combinations, and it takes about 65 to 70 days for sperm cells to form, for new sperm cells. So by then, once you've taken the medications for 2 months, we are supposed to repeat the analysis before we go ahead with the IVF.
Zero sperm count means there's no sperm.
Motility.
Or motility. The challenge with immotile sperm cells is we don't have the ability to know if they are alive. In order for me to know that the sperm is alive, then we have to do a vitality test. Once we do a vitality test on the sperm, then you cannot use that sperm for ICSI. That's the problem. So I know that even though the sperm is not moving, it's alive. But I'm also ethically not allowed to use a sperm that I'm not certain is alive to, it's like, then that means I'm converting it to an experiment. let's use all the sperms that are not moving, at least give or take, we'll see one or two. We're not allowed to do that. So there must be evidence of motility for us to know that the sperms are allowed. So in that case, if after taking medications, we don't find any moving sperm cells or we don't find any sperm cells at all, then you might want to opt for the sperm donation route.
Okay, can the supplement be taken for more than 3 months before IVF procedure? Yes. So in most cases, it's even recommended, depending on the situation of the patient. The patient can continue to take supplement until the wife gets pregnant. But this is financially draining, so most times we will recommend 1 month, depending on your situation, 2 months, 3 months. So it depends on individual cases. But you can take the supplement until the woman gets pregnant.
Okay, this question here, I have heard from people that children conceived via IVF have higher chances of being born with autism. Can you please speak to clarify this?
You know, that's initially when IVF started, they said there was a higher rate of cancer, but from the scientific journals that we read, the rate of autism has not increased with increase in IVF. What people now know is they have an awareness of IVF. Autism is unrelated to assisted conception. So sometimes when you go on the internet, you see a lot of excerpts of, write-ups and all that. You really want to be sure where those information are coming from. Is it coming from a peer-reviewed journal? And if it is, what are other people's take on it? Because we get to receive a lot of papers written based on this, based on that, and then when you look at it, you look at the confounding factors and realize that this research was not properly carried out. But I can tell you for free that autism has not increased in children born through IVF, so you should be rest assured.
Okay, I have this question. It says, is there a maximum age limit for persons that can undergo in vitro fertilization as a result of infertility? The thing is, all you need to get pregnant is the uterus, but age is a factor that has to be considered for a woman who is pregnant. We would like to cap it at 60. Yeah, 60 years of age is the maximum age limit. It's not like someone cannot get pregnant, but medically speaking, there are other comorbidities that are associated with that age. And as a result of that, we would even prefer that a patient of that age, or maybe between 50 and 60, would carry only one pregnancy at a time.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a commendation, a recommendation, and then a question. She says, good lecturer. Then she goes ahead to say, I will advise they do all this before anyone starting IVF for better understanding. Thank you for that recommendation. Then the question, she says, in the process of IVF program, if a woman conceives naturally, will they refund her money? The answer is yes, but we have a process. So you get your money, not the full money back, but you follow the due process and you get your money back.
I think it's also dependent on what you signed with the SALT team. So they would, I think they'll be in the best position to answer that.
Okay.
I have this one here. After fibroid surgery, when can the IVF process begin? And then the person went on to say, can the patient still have twins after surgery? Now, after the fibroid surgery, depends on where you had the fibroid surgery. Normally, we do recommend our patients to have their fibroid surgery here. But we are also aware of the fact that DIFF somehow is not easily reachable to most people in Nigeria, but we provide the best service. The reason for this is part of the things that we use during our surgery. We use high quality materials, the best of materials. So for that, if you have your surgery here, we can tell you that within 2 months, you can start. In fact, after 6 weeks, we start building you up to start an IVF process. However, we understand how the country is working, that things are not so easy. So we give people like opportunity to go outside to have their surgeries done and come back to us. And between 3 to 6 months after such surgeries, we can begin the IVF process. But you need to pay attention to the fact that it's like a man going to the market to buy yam with a brand new bag and a bag that Obioma has repaired for you. When you are carrying your yams with the one that Obioma has repaired, you put your hand under it and you carry carefully. So that means the transfer we'll be doing for you will still put 4 babies, but eventually you get pregnant with twins, we will advise we do a fetal reproduction for you to just carry one, because you just had the surgery within 3 to 6 months and it's not from here. If you've had the surgery here, yes, we'll know how to go about it, but we'll still put you under admission because you are carrying multiple pregnancies shortly after fibroid. But by the time you have the fibroid surgery like 2 years ago, then we can confidently say that yes, you can do twins, but please don't talk to us about triplets. Thank you.
Can one have a successful IVF without menstruating and a thin endometrium? The answer is yes. We can have a woman who is menopausal and at the same time, that means she's not seeing her menses. We can induce menses. We have several ways to ensure that she falls into the IVF program, either do an MVA or give her medications to make her bleed. After that, we give progesterone, we give estrogen to build up the endometrium before embryo transfer. So regardless of whether the endometrium is thin or not, yes, she can conceive.
Yeah, I said there's a question that says, maybe you answer it. Is there any other charge when using a donor? It didn't specify whether egg or...
Okay, the program actually covers egg donation, but it doesn't cover sperm donation. So I think if there's going to be an extra charge, maybe sperm donation. But if you're using egg donation, we're not going to charge you because your donor has used more medications or, like, we also get patients telling us like, please, can you freeze 10? A patient came and said, can we freeze 10 embryos for her and transfer 4? And I looked at her like, the fact that we're using a donor does not mean the donor is a chicken. Our goal is not to stimulate the donor to the point that she has a hyperstimulation syndrome. So I'm not going to be able to tell you if you will have embryos available for freezing until after we have done until the day of embryo transfer. And she wasn't very happy with that, but that's the honest truth, because if you've ever done an ovarian stimulation before, you would agree it's not an easy process. And the fact that a young girl comes to say that, I want to help you, does not mean that you should take advantage and stimulate her in such a way that it prevents her from helping other people in the future because of the side effects the medications have given to her. So when people make such demands from us, you need to be very careful, because you're sending us on something that is ethically not right. If you do have extra embryos, we'll tell you, and we'll tell you how many they are. If you're interested in freezing them, we'll freeze them. We'll tell you, definitely, oh, your donor had a lot more embryos. Would you want to freeze them for future purposes? But if the donor doesn't produce as much and just enough for us to do a transfer, then I'm sorry, you would have to take it that way.
Can a woman with endometriosis and fluid conceive? The answer is yes. Such a woman would have most likely been placed on some sort of medication that is most likely different from the regular. It's still part of the IVF treatment, and then we'll try to monitor and use certain treatment that will help us have dry endometrium before the day of transfer. So the answer is yes.
I have this question that says, does erection drugs like Viagra have effect on the quality of sperm? The answer is no. The sperms have already been produced and waiting to be released. The Viagra only enhances the passage and easy flow of the sperms. Now, I have a question I would like to direct to our Director of Clinical Services, Dr. Joshua Usman. He says, does rhesus negative have effect on abortion or pregnancy? Does rhesus negative have effect on abortion or pregnancy?
Thank you. Ratios negative is one thing that is in the population. When you do your blood group, you hear that your blood group is either A, B, O, or AB, and then you hear either it is positive or negative. For the Caucasians, about 5 to 15% of them have ratios negative blood, so they have more. Most times they say that it's bad, they say it is with us, but for Caucasians, I hope they have more. For us in the black race, we have 3 to 5%. The issue is with the baby, and it's with the husband and the mother. If the husband is positive and the mother is negative and is using her own egg and she gets pregnant for the first time, that first baby is likely to go through that pregnancy successfully without any problem. But because of this father's sperm that is positive, it produces an antibody that is now within the mother's system. And that antibody will remain in the next pregnancy. If the baby now is positive, take the mother's positive blood group, and the mother now has antibodies that will now fight that subsequent babies. So in subsequent babies, some of them may go through the pregnancy. Most times they will go through the pregnancy, but we take precaution during the first delivery if we know that the mother is negative. So we give an injection called Rogam to prevent an anti-hemoglobin D to prevent that second baby and subsequent babies not being affected. So for each delivery, we give an injection to prevent that happening. But if she escapes and it happens, there's likelihood that yes, that second and subsequent babies may be affected. So we know, that's why we do your blood groups, and we know and we take precaution. We will not likely allow such women to have such a problem. Thank you.
And we think there are women that are very concerned because they didn't have this knowledge in their first pregnancies and they were not giving Rogam. You can do what we call a Coombs test, COOMBS. So the Coombs test will tell us how sensitized you are and if it's safe for you to have a pregnancy that will not be affected. Okay.
Okay. Are there women who don't need to be on any sort of supplement during the IVF program? Well, it depends on the situation, especially if you're not using your eggs. But we do recommend that you should buy the supplement because even if you're not using your eggs, it contains some vitamins that will help prevent some sort of abnormality in the baby. So that's why we recommend that you should be on supplement. Then the second question is, what's the difference between sperm used in normal pregnancy and the one used for IVF? The truth is, in IVF, we take out the seminal fluid and we just have only the sperm cells that we use for insemination. But in natural or normal pregnancy, what happens is the semen is deposited in the vagina and only the sperm cells swim through the cervix, then up towards the uterus, then the fallopian tube for fertilization. Thank you.
Can I travel after 1 month of my transplant? After your transplant, then we do the pregnancy test. After pregnancy test, we do the scan. Once we've done your scan and we have confirmed your pregnancy, that you should be about 6 weeks, 4 days pregnant from the scan. So from the first answer we mentioned, where are you traveling to? If you are leaving Nigeria, we will package your medications, give them to you. Your team members are still here to support you for anything you need. If you are going to be within Nigeria, yes, definitely, you can travel. But if you want to go by road from Abuja to Bayelsa, if you are my sister, I would advise you take flight, or I'll contribute money for you to fly to Bayelsa because of the kind of road we have in Nigeria.
Thank you, everyone. That brings us to the end of the question and answer session. A round of applause, please. So lastly, I would like to introduce the team to you. So we will be introducing, yes. So as we call on everyone, they would come up the stage so that everyone sees your faces. Okay. I think everyone prefers that you stand this way. At the, yeah, up.
I'd also like you to know that we'll be taking a survey at the end of today's meeting to get a feedback from you about today's event, okay? So an email will be sent to you, as well as the link to the survey will be displayed on the screen. So you get it via your email, peradventure you are not with your device at the moment. And let me just add this by the way that this venue is open for events, okay? So it's open for business. In case you have people who would like to rent it, please contact the manager of the Paragon Hall at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Charles. I don't know anyone that receives the most questions like the CMD. So he says there is one question that was sent to him on his holidays or I don't know when. The patient wants that question answered. And he thinks everyone will benefit from the question. So a round of applause for CMD as he takes this question.
Well, thank you, Embroidery Lab Director. This question was sent to me this morning.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and she said, if a donor egg is used, how can the child have the characteristics of the mom? E.g., as I am now, I have smooth skin without hairs. I have space teeth. And I have very black hair.
That's correct.
My mom at almost 80 doesn't have one gray hair. Same with me. So, this was my response. We will look for a donor like you as much as possible, particularly your skin color. As much as possible. She now say, okay. So as the baby is inside, is growing inside of me, will my blood charge? Will it charge the baby?
Battery.
See, trust us. Just trust us. The embryology lab director will, you come, you follow me. You come. Ade, you come. Let's assume, I want you to trust me. This one is the patient. Do you think I will use this one as the donor for this patient? Why? Answer. Yes, be telling us the answer. They don't look alike. That's one. Two, the color is not the same. What others? Their size. One is robust. The other one is average, small. What else? The height. This one is tall. Our hair. Okay, so I won't use this one. Don't worry, you will guide me. Sit here, come. So you stay here. Leave. Trust us. Now, this is the patient. Cynthia is the chief resident of the hospital and our chief reproductive physician. So she's watching. Do you think I will use this one for this one? Why? The color, this one is, that's what the girl is saying. I'm fair and I'm spotless. Don't come and give me, this one is taller than this. Doris, come. So I'm looking. That's how we do it. Do you think I will use this one? Yes. Correct. I will use this one. But there's a problem. We have done the blood group. This one is O positive. This one is AB positive. Despite the fact that they look alike, I will not use this one. If he come. So, this is perfect. But the blood group, which is critically important. Can I use this one? Yes. Okay. This girl's blood group and this one, same. But this would have been perfect. So, I cannot, because of color, create a blood group challenge for the future. So I take this. Now, I want you to stretch your imagination. The work that has taken place in the laboratory, trying to look for this Onyibo. That's the question this girl is asking me. She now added that I should put Oputit. Where will I get? So my answer to the Oputit, when you born the child, use a plier, remove. Comes and throw away the teeth. I hope I've answered her question. Because she told me that she's going to tell her friend, that her friend is here to record the answer. Send the answer of the class to your friend. You are here, you are looking at me. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for them. Put your hands together.
Okay, just one more thing to ease the patients that are using donor cycles. It's important you know something, that the environment a child is brought up determines 85% what that child will become. Genes basically just play maybe 15%. If I have a set of identical twins today, and I give one of them to you, and take the other person to a slum, maybe in Ajegule, and bring back the children together 25 years later, even though they look alike, they will behave differently. And then you say, oh, I walk like my mom, and I talk like my mom, because you lived with your mother. While we were growing up, we had people that lived with us. You realize that those other people that were not particularly siblings that lived with you, they take up the principles, the mannerisms, and how you do things in your home, and that's what particularly guides them through life. That's exactly what children are to you. The Bible says that the children of God are a fruit of his reward. So when he gives them to you, he expects you to guide them through life. So when you look at it, it's not necessarily about you. It's about what you can impact to the child. And for a child that you've waited for so long, I want to tell you that you're doing well, because I know you all will be the best parents ever for the children that will be born to you. So you've heard a lot from us. The next person that will be coming up the stage is the mother of this team. She is our Executive Director of Administration. She is the jewel of inestimable value of our Chief Medical Director. She's very soft-spoken. She's had a set of triplets, very intelligent triplets, 3 of them in medical school. And she manages this team on the aspects of counseling. Our Executive Director of Administration has reached the peak of nursing, so she's not just an administrator, she's also a nursing administrator. So there is nothing you want to talk about assisted conception that she cannot give to you. I present to you Mrs. Mercy Ogugwamaka Idahosa. A round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, all. Good afternoon. Okay. Congratulations. Say, receive it by faith. Congratulations. The days of weeping is over. The time of rejoicing has come. And you will rejoice. You will rejoice. Because you walked through that gate into this place. And our covenant with God is that okay, you have been taken through a long session of both academic work and practical aspect of it as well. I am a true picture of one that waited for 9 years. We didn't know it would be like that. But eventually God took us through. And he told us that it was in preparation for the work he had for us. So that we go forth and comfort others with the comfort we have received. By the grace of God, we'll have a set of triplets. My husband wanted 3 children. I wanted 4. But God gave us 3, 2 boys and a girl. I waited and I went through in vitro fertilization. Today, they are 21 years and few months. And I believe, hearing this, some of the questions you're asking would have been answered. But I'm talking to our guys here. You have been enjoying your wife for many years. Please, when she starts this program, until you see the baby, I bet tie that thing small. Please, she's not punishing you, but it is a time to support her to receive this baby. The baby is yours, going to answer your name, so play your own part to make her happy, and that your joy too will be full. By the grace of God today, I have my very beloved sister, Mrs. Ahimia, who also went through a period of waiting. She waited more than myself. And she is today a mother of a son called Samuel. Please, my beloved sister, come forward and encourage these women with the courage that the Lord gave to you. Put your hands on. Bless you.
Thank you, Ma. Pardon my breath, because this is a very, very, let me find the words for it. Good afternoon, everyone. My goodness. Thank you, Ma. I just want to say that God is too much, and he works in very mysterious ways to perform even wonders that you and I cannot fathom. I am very surprised I'm holding this microphone. Anything happening at DIFF Medical Center, I want to be a part of it, because I am one person that God showed mercy through this commission. One person that everyone wrote off. Born some 56 years ago, I came into this contact with this God-sent, I call the MD our God-given doctor, and she is my very beloved sister. God put people on our path so we can carry the load. I am grateful to God for DIFF Medical Center. And like she said, I am only here because I believe that there's someone sitting there that needed to hear the story. There's someone sitting there and you have wept enough. You have carried that load enough. Mine was 2 decades straight. 2. Many times even now, we count on our fingers, on our toes, my husband and I, and we ask ourselves, how did we do it? Just 2 weeks ago, my husband turned 60 years, and because the CMD and his wife have been so marvelously on our side, we told ourselves that today I must come and drop the souvenir, because of course they couldn't be with us. We understood that reason. And I said I was going to come. And here I am, talking to some persons that I could never have met. When we first came in contact with DIFF, for us it was like, okay, let's see what God will do, because we've gone to Harley Street in the UK. We've been to the US. Don't even ask me how much was spent. We went and came back. I was in the UK for 6 years, just trusting God for a child. And when one of our very, very beloved mentors, we call them our parents in the Lord, told us that we should come back to Nigeria, to DIFF, the first question I asked my husband was, what will I tell anybody I'm coming back to Nigeria to do? Because, I mean, you go abroad, you want to come back. I want to come back with a child. And I love children, my goodness. I am the first daughter of 12 children. And for as much as I can remember, I started taking care of children from the age of about 10. So, you could just imagine. And as a child of God, I created Bible clubs. Everywhere I went, children followed me. I love children. One day, we were going to work, and I saw children walking to school. I told my husband, stop. Let's carry them to school. My husband said, so that what? They are not our children. I said, hey, God has not given us our own. Let's just carry these ones. He said, they won't understand you, my wife. Don't worry. God will give us our own. And so the first time that we met MD, he was so positive. This journey has been so long, about 18 years then. He was the first doctor that we met who gave us hope. There was just nothing contrary. Every question we asked, he seemed to have an answer to it. And before we left UK, the last doctor I met, told me if I was so desperate for a child, I should just go and adopt one, because there was already too much happening in this uterus. So he advised, just go and adopt a child, don't worry. So when I met MD for the first time and he said, my sister, no, what I'm seeing here is like a 4-month-old fetus and his fibroid. That day when I go back, I finished the tears in my eyes. But MD said, that's what we just need to take care of that before we do anything. Let me not bore you with too much stories, but I'm just here to let you know that it's all history. MD will say, it is mission possible. My husband and I, we are indebted for life to this commission. And we are grateful to God that
one man and his darling wife, together with the unflinching support of the many faces you see here, who you will meet at one point or the other, just decided that they will not take no for an answer. For me, DIFF is the answer to the tears of so many families. I can't wait, sir. I am looking forward to the ceremony where, if possible, you can gather. I know you can gather all the people. I have good news for someone today, because I'm talking and you are wondering. I actually came with Master Samuel. We call him Samuel Elowosa Ileri Oluwakiye. Sammy, I know you are somewhat shy, but somehow you just have to come and show your face. As I speak to you, he's 11 years old and he's taller than I am. So Sammy, you have to come. Can someone help me bring Master Samuel? An evidence of what God can do and what the devil cannot do. An evidence that when you come into DIFF Medical Center, sincerely, because of the God factor, you have hope. One thing you must not do is to give up. ND and his wife, and where's my darling Adesua? They won't give up on us. Many times we wanted to give up. This thing is not an easy thing. But like my husband will say, those who give up are never celebrated. After the surgery, we tried for the first time. That's Master Sammy. Please celebrate Jesus for me. I say he's taller than me. You see what I'm saying? I can't even believe. It was only 11 years ago we took this young little child. He was 2.3 kg when he was born. Now he's taller than me, and you say I should not dance. If you tell me to roll from here to anywhere in this entire facility, I will do it, because God has done for us, rolled our shame away. Like someone is going to have a testimony. The next time there is a reason to pick up this microphone, I just believe that it will be you, because it is mission possible. So let me lend my voice to my beloved sister's voice to tell you congratulations. Just don't give up. ND, sir, on behalf of my darling husband of 31 years, we were married for 20 years. Oh my God, he didn't even spite me once, and then God brought him in contact with this wonderful family. Today we are all smiles. Don't say I told you, but Sammy is asking me for his siblings. Can God do it? Yes. Thank you so much for your time. You're next in line to be celebrated. Thank you, Ma, for the time. Thank you for the opportunity. I am so grateful. Keep hope alive. God bless you. Let's go.
Thank you, my beloved sister. That's the story. You don't need any more. I believe many have been encouraged today. Please, just go ahead and do what you are asked to do. Obey the instructions you are given and prayerfully bring it to the Lord. He is able. He is more than able to do much more than our human heart can comprehend. Please do not give up. Please be careful what you hear from the network. All manner of stories, all manner of counsel, but the person that can give you the best counsel is your doctor, your embryologist, and your IVF nurse. Don't give up. Begin to rejoice. Take a step of faith. Go and buy things for your babies, because you're going to receive these babies. You will live here rejoicing. And the good Lord will give you that dance of victory. I wish you the very best. God bless you all.
As an act of faith, say to your neighbor, say, you're next. All right, so I would like to make welcome those of you on this side, if you said next, you're on your own. I'd like us to make welcome our Chief Medical Director, who will be introducing members of the in vitro fertilization unit. From the doctors to the nurses, embryologists, clinical assistant, nursing assistants.
We are almost through. This is the last, after which we take the only thing I seem to know about well, the only thing I know about IVF babies is not autism, they are too brilliant. Flight MH317 is still missing. I do not have a doubt in my mind that the person that is going to determine where that flight is will be one of the IVF babies. I'm telling you. The thing is, why are IVF babies? I mean, I have a set of triplet. The three of them are studying medicine. So I know. And it's just like that. People wonder, why are they so brilliant? I said, maybe because we collected the best sperm. Maybe. Could it also be because we take care of them so much? You know, you don't joke with IVF babies. If they slap your child as you're born through IVF, you will react. So that's just, maybe those are things and so on and so forth. So let me introduce the team. She just came to give us a survey now, and I noticed that Mrs. Ahimia. Mrs. Ahimia was told in London by the father of IVF in London that she cannot get pregnant. And Ahimia told, why will you talk like that? Why will you tell me my wife can't get pregnant? And then there was discussion, and the man says, if you get pregnant, I will tear my certificate. What? Since when has man become God? So when she got pregnant, she wanted to go back to London at the 20th week to go and show herself to the man who said she can't. I said, no, don't do that. Don't do that. It's not a contest. You don't hide pregnancy. If anybody told you you cannot get pregnant, it means the last time the person read a good textbook of medicine was 46 years ago. I'm telling you. No woman on this earth is barren. So, let me introduce the team. So, can I call the doctors and the nurses and everybody? And so, we'll just line them up. Please, the doctors, the nurses, the clinical assistants, hospital assistants, everybody please come in. And then members of the SALT team. The reason I'm introducing them, anyone that looks for your trouble, send me a text. Nobody should add any sorrow to anybody. We are not doing you a favor. You are doing me a favor by giving me an opportunity to fulfill purpose. So I'm grateful to you. Thank you for believing in us. Okay. So, what do I start with? I'll start with most of these people, as young as they are, when I started going for my programs, particularly in the United States and in Europe, I went with them. Every course I went for in the United States, I went with them so that they can do what I can do. Today, just look at them answering the questions, things they could not do many years ago. So, I have nothing to lose. These are the ones that are really doing it. When you see me coming, I come only when it is really tough. Okay. So, Dr. Usman is the first. Oh, okay. Let me, Dr. Usman, just introduce you and then you go and say that Dr. Usman He's our Director of Clinical Services. He's a member of the American Society for Reproductive Medicine. He's also a member of the European Society for Human Reproduction. Now, I will continue with Dr. Cynthia Omonua. Cynthia Omonua from Delta State, Delta-born girls, our chief president. She has a master's degree in reproductive medicine. Thank you, Cynthia. Sheyi Oduyoye. Sheyi Oduyoye is our deputy chief resident. He's the head of our rapid response unit. He's the head of our biomedical unit. He's the head of too many things. So once Dr. Shea is around us, we are calm, because he's, when it comes to medical emergencies and exigencies, Dr. Shea is the point man. Shea Oduyoye. Thank you. A lot of you met Shea Oduyoye in the course of this program because he did most of the reviews of your files. Dr. Shea, we're grateful. Dr. Shea is a member of the American Society for Reproductive Medicine. He's also a member of the European Society for Human Reproduction. Dr. Charles Ojabo is the head of our continuing education unit and has also just finished his master's degree in reproductive medicine. Charles Ojabo, head, continuing education unit. Thank you. Helen Chibuga Adeno, the latest, you are baby. Now, I don't think I will give any patient to her. You know what you will do? You'll be following Cynthia behind. You understand? Because she's doing well. Oh, she's fantastic. You mean it? Okay. You know, I've not been in the country. Okay, go and stay on that side first. Before I know what to do with you. Where is Adesuwa? She has gone. Okay, let me start with our reproductive nurses. Scholastica Anyamele is the head of our reproductive nursing corps. Say, Scholastica alone, she alone, can take you through ovulation induction, endometrial regeneration, embryo transfer, and pregnancy test, her alone. Because she went with me. Everywhere I went to, I took Scholastica along so that I can breathe my life into her. Thank you. Scholastica, head, reproductive nursing corps. She's assisted by Grace Olatunji. Grace Olatunji is also a member of the European Society for Reproductive Medicine, deputy head of the nursing corps. Now, Damilola Akimoluwen, nurse Damilola, I won't add Damilola and Obi together to care for one patient. That is an overkill, because each of them can stand on their own. So I will take Damilola and add, I will even take Damilola and add that doctor and tell Damilola, you are the leader. Damilola can do what I can do. Dami, I'm proud of you. Thank you. Charity, Ihena Karen. Okay, Chacha. People think that if you are small, then you don't know. It's not like that. Chacha went with me also. And there were times at some of these conferences, particularly in the United States, DIFF hospital had 18, 19 representatives. In different countries in Europe, we went there because I knew that knowledge is power. Today, see the results. They can do everything we can do. Charity, Ihena Karen. So you have seen her. Don't describe her as that fair nurse. Ooh, that fair nurse is looking for my trouble. This one is fair. Obi is fair. Or that fair short nurse. Who told you she's short? I'm sure she will say that. That's what I want to say. Charity, Chidima. Chidima, thank God you're back. Now, for those of you who are allocated Chidima to, Chidima gets pregnant very regularly. Quickly, make sure your patients get pregnant before you get pregnant again. Nurse Nosuna Chidima, she has what it takes to deliver your expectations. Chidima, hardworking nurse. Thank you. Ifeyiwa Odokwe. Any of them, the reason I'm calling them is so that you can take note of them. Send me a text. Don't call me. My number, 0803 0803 787 9352. Just send a text. When you send a text that this nurse or this doctor did not take care of you, what you do is a process starts. It's a feedback thing. Nobody is doing you a favor. Okay. So, if this kind of food, is it Belgium?
No, it has a lock.
Oh, it has a lock. Oh, okay. Okay, normally go off. Okay, come on, how does it go off? I thought the battery has finished. Nurse Ife Udukwe, thank you. I know you will deliver expectations. Doris, baby Doris. Doris Owunjariri. You look young, but she is a pack of power. Doris is her name. Which state are you from?
Imo State.
Imo State. Doris. Nurse Grace Okechukwu. Okay, that's her name. Don't describe her as the nurse with the dreadlock. Her name is Grace. Grace. Don't just say Grace, because in IVF we have two of them. This is Grace Okechukwu. The other one is Grace Olatunji. Write it that way. Okay, I will respond. Trust me, I will respond. Okay, thank you, Grace. Genevieve. Now, I'm happy that there is no windstorm in Abuja, because this is the kind of person, if there is a wind, she has gone. Although wind can carry her, but her brain has power. Genevieve, that's her name. Okay, Moji. Moji has been working with me. Yesterday she closed by 10. She has been working with me. So you can imagine somebody who is sitting with me every time. So Moji, when soap stays with this paper, after some time, even the paper becomes soap. That's what Moji is. Moji Akira. Okay, embryologists. The power base behind this thing. 30% of the success happens on the day of embryo transfer. You hear that DIFF is great. The truth is this. The guys who are doing the work behind the scene are the embryologists. We are eternally grateful to the embryology team led by our indefatigable Adesuwa Evans Ogbebo. She's just slept, but she's assisted by Tokpe Bodunde. Tokpe also holds a master's degree in embryology from the University of Leeds. So she is the Assistant Secretary of the IVF unit. Thank you, Tops. All right. So God's Power Omogiade is the next to Tokpe in embryology. These boys can do amazing things in the laboratory. Well done, God's Power. God's Power Omogiade are clinical embryologists from Edo State. Israel Sunday Echeta, as big as his muscles, so is his brain power. Thank you, Israel Echeta Sunday embryologist. Okay, Jeremiah Jato. Jeremiah Jato is the man that is sitting on the cursor when it comes to sperm. So when you give sperm, the man who is eventually going to do the initial analysis is Jeremiah Jato in the embryology laboratory. Thank you. Solomon Aoba is working with Jeremiah in the andrology lab, and they all report to the theme. Let me tell you something. Can somebody's sperm be used mistakenly? It's not possible. The reason is this: there must be a witness. In this hospital, we cannot take one person's sperm and fertilize an egg without another person standing by and watching to make sure there are no mistakes. Apart from the electronic watching, there is the human watching. Thank you, guys. Now, I now go to our clinical assistants, and I will start with Ife, Ekedego. They are the ones that create the enabling environment for us to work. If we're going to succeed in this program and do a third-party human reproduction, if you take Ife out of it, you are wasting your time. We are wasting this batch. The success of the CYB batch rests on these guys, because what they do at the background is not a joke. Her name is Ife. If we just call her Ife, you won't see her in action. Won't give you her number. You don't need her number. The people that have her number, they are more than you. Okay, thank you, Ife. And then Mercy Adengbe. Mercy Adengbe works with Ife. Thank you, Mercy. All right, now these guys are the ones who make sure that the laboratory is clean. The theater is clean. They clean the lab. As you are going, they are cleaning your shoe. They're cleaning the nonsense away. They're making sure that the laboratory has a particular level of pH, this, like that kind of power behind the throne. So thank you. Now I will take the first, Abba, Dorcas, come. The reason I like Dorcas is anytime I see her, I tell her that there are 5 of us that have the same complexion in this hospital. Myself, Dorcas, Sheyi, Dr. Usman, and one man they call Leke. 5 of us, same. The question, I told her one day that now she's darker than me. She says it's a lie, that I'm darker than her. Those of you who are watching, judge who is darker between 2 of us. Thank you, Dorcas. All right, Ifeanyi Chiku Ozobo, that's his name. Thank you for the work. And Emeka Iheoku, thank you. And then Obina Obed, thank you. Now the SOT Foundation. Hey, these are the SOT girls, thank you. You guys are the ones that made it work. Thank you. This is Dumebi Egbonawa. If you look at Dumebi, she looks like she was given birth to by my wife. The reason is she is the daughter of my wife's senior sister. That's why they look alike. So her name is Dumebi. Dumebi is the head of SALT Foundation, and she's the assistant head of corporate of this hospital. Head, SALT Foundation. Assisted by Sylvia, deputy head of SALT Foundation, and she is the admin officer, one of this organization, and she's the PA to the director of clinical services. Okay. You know, your own is to sing. Okay, her name is Amara. Amara is the PRO of the SALT Foundation. So all those things they have been selling to you, this is the person. Thank you, Amara. Esther David is the secretary of the SALT Foundation. Thank you, job well done. Chine is the principal confidential secretary to the CMD and a member of the SALT Foundation.
Thank you, sir.
Round of applause for yourselves. Dr. Helen, please come forward.
Not yet. Cynthia, come. I should give her. Put your right hand on your chest. First. Oh yeah, say, I, Cynthia Omonuwa. Give her a microphone, because I don't have any patience to joke with you. You know I'll be calling you baby doctor. Don't worry, the young shall grow, okay? Now, the patient says she wants open teeth like your own. Did you pluck your own away? I, Cynthia Omonowa.
I, Cynthia Omonowa.
Chief Resident.
Chief Resident.
Chief Reproductive Physician.
And Chief Reproductive
Hereby
Physician.
promise.
Hereby promise.
That this baby doctor.
That's Dr. Helen Abinu.
Is trustworthy.
Is trustworthy.
Reliable. Dependable. And very loyal.
And very loyal. Thank you.
So help you God. Thank you very much, CMD. A round of applause for yourselves again. You have been a very wonderful audience, and we have come to the end of our interactive forum. We would like to rise up for the DIFF anthem, thereafter the national anthem. We wish you a very successful sail in this journey and a successful outcome by the special grace of God. Ebony Waves.
To